Hi, my name is Lee. In this video, I'm going to further explore the intimate relationship between Moses and Jethro, his father-in-law. And in one of the last videos, I showed you this source, which is about the origin of Moses' stammer. Concerning Moses' additional argument that he was not suitable for this appointment, saying, I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. We have been told on this verse that while growing up in Pharaoh's palace, Moses once took the king's crown and threw it on the ground. The king wanted to execute him on account of this misdemeanor. His astrologers used this incident to point out that Moses must be the boy of whom they had warned that he would become the redeemer of the Israelites. According to Shmot Rabbah 1:12, Pharaoh consulted his closest advisors, who included Bilam, Jethro or Yitro, his father-in-law, obviously well before he was his father-in-law, and Job. So Bilam, Jethro, and Job. They offered different advice, one saying that the boy was guilty of death, the other saying it was a youthful prank not to be taken seriously. They devised a means to test if there had been an evil intent in Moses knocking off his foster grandfather's crown. They placed before him a bowl containing both a golden coin and a glowing coal. If Moses were to grab for the coal, this would prove that he had not had any evil intention. If he were to grab for the golden coin, this would be a sign that he was dangerous and would have to be killed. Moses was about to grab the golden coin when an angel pushed his hand toward the coal, and he burned his tongue when trying to taste it. According to this midrash, this is where Moses' stammer originated. So we showed that even when Moses was a baby, there was a connection between Moses and Jethro, who would later go on to be his father-in-law. And we showed that Jethro has 7 names, and here they are. Ruel actually shows up in Genesis 36 for the first time. And then Jethro, Hobab, because he loved the Torah. Heber means friend or companion. Caini is Cainite, or of Cain. And Putiel. So 7 names. Jethro has 7 names. And I didn't know this until recently, but Moses is also known by 7 different names. Then I showed that the name Moshe exists in the Torah. In the 5 books of Moses, the name Moshe exists 616 times. So that name, exactly like that, you'll find in the Torah 616 times. Interestingly, HaTorah, the Torah, here in Hebrew, HaTorah, the Torah, has the value 616 in gematria. So Moses exists in the Torah 616 times, and the Torah has the value 616. And 616 is also the value of the name Jethro. And you'll remember that the Torah was given through Moses at Sinai, and the portion of the Torah where that happens is named after Jethro. So HaTorah 616, Jethro 616, and the Torah was given in the portion called Jethro through Moses, whose name exists 616 times. Okay, so let's explore this a little bit. The descendants of Jethro devoted themselves to Torah study. Just something to keep in mind. Another name that comes up with the value 616 is Eleazar ben Aaron. Eleazar, the son of Aaron. Now, where is the connection? Well, we know the 616 of Moses. It's obvious. Aaron is Moses' brother, so that would make Eleazar his nephew. But what about through Jethro? The 616 is the value of Jethro, and 616 is the value of Eleazar ben Aaron. Well, you might remember that Eleazar took a wife from the daughters of Jethro, who is Putiel. You remember that he took a wife from the daughters of Puti or Putiel, and she gave him Phineas or Pinchas. So there's your connection, the 616, Jethro and Eleazar. He took a daughter. Actually, Moses and Eleazar both took wives from the daughters of Jethro. And remember, Jethro was called by 7 names, and one of them, Putiel. But let's look into Caini. According to our Kabbalists, Moses was the reincarnation of Abel, whereas Yitro, Jethro, was the reincarnation of Cain, hence his name, Heber, like we saw earlier, Ha-Caini. So remember this, Ha-Caini. And burn this little Hebrew word into your mind. Remember, Heber is one of his names, and Caini. But Ha-Caini means the Cainite. So let's have another look at some interesting matches for 616. So again, here's Yitro or Jethro. 616 is a match for this word found in Genesis 32:16, and it has to do with the nursing camels. So here's camels, and these are suckling or nursing camels. This is the word for nursing or suckling. What's interesting about it is, if you look carefully, you'll see that it has the word Caini in it, backwards. So one of the names of Jethro, and actually more than that, it has the word Cainites in it. So a word with the same gematria or same number value as Jethro has Cainites, both Cainite and Cainites, in it backwards, contain in it backwards. So we saw earlier one of his names is Caini, and here's Ha-Caini. See it here, and then have a look here. Backwards, Caini, and Cainim actually. So again, this word has the value 616. Same value as Jethro, the Cainite, and it has the value, or it has the word Cainites in it backwards. And who were the Cainites? They were the descendants of Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses. And here's Cainim. You can see it. This is the only time it exists in this form. The Cainites. The Cainites. You can see it's the same. Interesting. And here it is in a different form without that extra yud. That would be right here. It's just Cainim without the yud. And if you know how this stuff works, you'll know in Torah that yuds can come and go, as well as vavs. So here it is without the yud. It's still Cainim, and this is in backwards. And here it is actually, again, right here in Exodus 2 verse 7, and this is about Moses and who is going to nurse Moses. when he is baby Moses, when he is found. So let's go check that out. His sister said to Pharaoh, to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call you a wet nurse from the Hebrew women, so that she shall nurse the child for you?" Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." So the girl went and called the child's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed him. Now, what's interesting, if you look at these verses, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Here is Cainim, and here backwards again. And here's Cainite. It looks like Kenite or Kenitu, almost like backwards. Or Caini right here. But then with the tav, it's like a T sound, so it's hinting at like Cainite. And then we have Cainim over here. And if you go down to this verse, again, this is all has to do with the wet nurse, or nursing, or suckling. And here it is again. See Caini. And one more time. Ha, Cain, and then a tav as well. So ha, Cain over here. But again, if you just mix these up a little bit. So let's check out this one here, especially where we have Caini backwards with, and then the tav. This word resembles a word that shows up in Genesis 4, which is the chapter about Cain, actually. So this word resembles, only backwards. Let's see, this word here. Now the man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bore Cain. And she said, "I have acquired a man with the Lord." And you'll see that this is the "I have acquired." And you can see it's almost identical to the other word, only backwards. Here. And here. Okay, and here is Ha-Caini, the Cainite. And here it is found backwards again, in full form, Ha-Caini, the Cainite. Here it is. And it's found in Genesis 21:7 backwards. Again, having to do with nursing or suckling. And here it is. It's to do with Abraham and Sarah. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? For I have borne a son to his old age. And then when you look at it in Hebrew, you can see it right here. Ha-Caini. Let's compare it again. And here it is as it, here's Ha-Caini. Here it is backwards. 21:7. And there it is. In the text backwards, again having to do with nursing or suckling. Interestingly, Caini shows up in other words as well. Here's one, and it has to do with Cainites. So here's Hash-Caini. You can see Caini, Cainite, right here. Hash-Caini shows up 3 times in the text. We're going to focus on one because it has to do with people who are Cainites. So again, Caini means Cainite, or of Cain. And it shows up here. And Sisera fled on foot to the tent of Yael, the wife of Heber the Cainite, for there was peace between Jabin the king of Hazor and the house of Heber the Cainite. So this is his wife, Yael. And Yael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Turn in, my lord, turn into me, fear not." And he turned into her into the tent, and she covered him with a garment. And he said to her, "Now give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty." And she opened the flask of milk and gave him to drink and covered him. So he asks for water, and she gives him milk. Interestingly, here's Hashkeni. Again, with Cainites involved. So we noticed earlier that every time Caini shows up backwards, or little hints of Cainite, has to do with nursing or suckling. He asks for water, Hashkeni, please give to drink, or give to drink, and she, instead of water, gives him milk. Nursing, suckling, milk. And here we have Hakeni, short form backwards in the text of the giving of the Torah. So the text of the Ten Commandments, which again were given in the portion of the Torah named after Jethro, the Cainite. Here we have Hakeni in the text backwards. "And you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold blameless anyone who takes his name in vain." And the word in question here is blameless. And there it is. Hakeni, backwards. Interestingly, again, Jethro in this text exists in the Torah portion named after Jethro, the Cainite. Now, if you look for the value of this word, it's 165. And again, it seems to be Hakeni backwards. Interestingly, one of the first things that pops up for a match at 165 is Naamah, the sister of Tubal-Cain, who was a Cainite. So there's Naamah right there. So Hakeni backwards has the same gematria as a Cainite woman, Naamah. And here's something very interesting. So since it seems to be saying something backwards, Hakeni backwards, I thought, why not try with Atbash? So Atbash technique is just switching the Hebrew alphabet around the values. So an aleph would be tav and all this. So if you use Atbash to modify the text of the Tanakh, it will change the alphabet around and modify the text, which will then give you this kind of stuff. This is like jumbled stuff because the alphabet is reversed. But then this will now give me 165, which is a match for this. But that's not what the text really says. Even though this is a match for 165, let's see what that text actually says. So, unclick this, and now it's going to show us what the text actually says. So, Hakeni backwards is a match for, Keni, menorah, branch of the menorah. Keni, menorah. This is the word menorah. So branch of the menorah. Interesting. So it does have a relevant match even in using the Atbash technique, which is flipping the alphabet. If you want more information, you can look up Atbash in gematria. Again, Hakeni comes up as a match for Keni menorah. So let's see what that is. And 6 branches coming out of its sides, 3 menorah branches from one of its sides, and 3 menorah branches from the second side. And let's go have a look at these. So clearly they're about the menorah. So there you see Kainim, Kaini, menorah. Kaini, menorah. And then Kainim here. Kaini again. Kaini, menorah. You have Keneh here. And here. And Ha-Kainim right here. All about the menorah. And further down as well. What's interesting about that is, according to the Hebrew Bible, the Cainites were a nomadic tribe in the ancient Levant. The Cainites were coppersmiths and metal workers. What was the menorah pounded out of? And we'll see that the Cainite tradition of working with metals and goes all the way back to, again, chapter 4 of Genesis, where Tubal-Cain, who sharpened all tools that cut copper and iron. And again, Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah, a Cainite. And there are those who say that Naamah is the wife, or the name at least, of the wife of Noah. And then Naamah, you can look this up, is also the name of the wife of King Solomon. Now, to bring this back to our very first screen, where it was the council of Bilam, Job, and Jethro, there was another council with the same people later on in history. 3 noteworthy people were consulted by Pharaoh in that council. The council to figure out what to do with the Jewish children being born, or the Hebrew children, where Pharaoh questioned what should be done with the Jewish people. They were Bilam, Job, and Jethro. So again, the same 3 people. Different council. Rabbi Hiya Bar Abba teaches what occurred to each of them. Bilam, who advised Pharaoh to kill all sons born to the Jewish people, was punished by being killed in the war with Midian. Job, who was silent and neither advised nor protested, was punished by suffering, as detailed in the eponymous book in the Bible. Jethro, who ran away as a sign of protest, merited that some of his children's children sat in the Sanhedrin in the chamber of hewn stone, as it is stated, and the families of scribes who dwelt at Yabetz. These were the Cainites, who descended from Hamath, the father of the house of Rechab, which is the Rechabites. And it is written, the children of the Cainite, Moses' father-in-law. This teaches that the Cainites, descendants of Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, dwelt at Yabetz, referring to the place where the Jewish people go for advice, i.e., the chamber of hewn stone. Interesting how these things played out. So the same Pharaoh is looking for counsel from the same 3 people when Moses is an infant, and then later on as well. There are tons of sources talking about the brotherhood between Jethro and Moses. It's not something we hear a lot about, but it's something that's very exciting to me. If you have any interest in this type of thing, please let me know. Thank you.